Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you have joined from. Welcome everyone to another SQL Maestros webinar. Today's content is my top 5 DMVs part 2. My name is Amit Bansal and I'm going to be your host and speaker for the next 60 minutes. As we always do, it's good to know which country have you joined from. So please use the chat window. Let me and everyone else today in the room know where are you from, and I'm just going to call that out. It's always good to do that. UK, Germany, US, India, the names are coming. Yes, please chat, send your chat to everyone. Okay, India again, US, Texas, USA, welcome. Okay, let's see what other countries do we have for today. Okay, we have someone from Taiwan, which is great. Okay, Dubai, New York, USA, India. Okay, from Noida, India again. India, Canada. Okay, Dallas, USA. What else? Well, we have more than 100 people in the room today. We have someone from Pakistan. Good. Welcome. Italy. Wow, that's a great distribution. Okay, thank you, folks. Thank you, SQL friends. All right. So before we begin with today's content, a few quick housekeeping announcements. This is my top 5 DMVs part 2, which means part 1 was delivered earlier. That was last week. The recordings of that is available online on sqlmaestros.com. And for this webinar also, part 2 is going to be available. So of course, the webinar is going to be recorded, and all of those recordings are available on sqlmaestros.com. All you have to do is get into the recorded webinar section. Here are some links. You may want to copy them and put them in your notepad, OneNote, wherever. Then maybe you may want to bookmark. One of them is about the webinars. So there was a question. A lot of people ask these questions about the webinars, because when you go to the webinar section, you will find that some webinars are free, some have a nominal price tag to it. And that's how we keep, with that nominal price tag, we continue to run our free show. That helps us. You don't have to pick each webinar and pay for it. The best option is you can take up the premium membership. That's also very reasonably priced. With that premium membership, that is annual on sqlmaestros.com, it's an annual membership. You get access to all our webinars for the whole year. And you get access to the premium video lobby also. So check out all of that on sqlmaestros.com. I'm sure you're going to find that worth it. Okay, questions, technical questions, please use the Q&A panel. Please do not put the questions in the chat window. Please avoid that. And last but not the least, friends, many of you know that our popular masterclass, which is SQL Server internals, troubleshooting, and performance tuning, the 40 hours deep dive content, that's coming up in November, 3rd and 4th week. And we have only 20 seats for that. 11 are already booked. So if you are serious about SQL Server performance tuning, you should pick that up. You get to attend live and you get the recordings for a lifetime. You get the recordings for the upcoming batch, and you also get the recordings of the previous batch, which is last year's batch. You get instant access and lifetime access, which is a good deal. If you do not wish to go for that, no worries. We'll always continue to do all these free webinars and a lot of free content on our YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube channel is something that should be up there it's not there. Okay, I'll give that to you later. No worries. Okay, let's just copy paste the link for the YouTube channel also. Where is that? There you go. Okay, that's for all of you in the chat window. A lot of free content out there. Okay, friends. Okay, so let's get started with my top 5 DMVs part 2. So the folder is in front of you. A lot of this content is from our masterclass. Here, I'm going to show you those DMVs, how they work, where you can use them. But of course, in masterclass, we go even deeper into discussions and demos and the content as a whole. In part 1, I did these 5 DMVs that you have in front of you. We did weight stats, we did query stats, We did something to do with TempDB, which is task space usage DMV. Then we did something to do with IO, virtual file stats DMV, and then memory. So we did memory clerks. So we covered these top 5 DMVs, and my intention was to kind of pick and choose different areas of SQL Server. And similarly, in part 2, which we are doing today, I have again picked up another 5 areas. So if you see, we have picked up something to do with concurrency, then indexes. I've actually picked up 2 for indexes because it was kind of very difficult to choose one of them because both of them are just so equally important. And indexes, they saw a lot of performance issues, right? So I thought, okay, why not give slightly more importance to index DMVs? So I've taken up index physical stats as well. Then we do exec plan cache DMV, and the last one is exec requests. I always felt that this DMV exec request I could have done in the first webinar last week, but because this DMV is like a mother DMV, it helps in so many areas, but nonetheless, let's do it today. Okay, friends, so let's get started without any further delay. I mean, you have any questions about SQL Maestros, about our webinars, about masterclasses, about the recordings, about premium membership, all in one bundle, anything, just drop an email to contact@sqlmaestros.com. Okay, so one of you is complaining about the voice being low. Is the voice okay? Audio check. Rode microphone. The setup looks all good. Check, check. Okay, Priyanka, maybe you could increase the volume up there in your headphones or speakers because looks like most of the attendees today are confirming that the audio is good. Okay, so let's continue. Screen sharing, I think all of you can see and all of you can see me. Great. Let's get started. Straight away, we are going to jump into the 6th one. Top 5 means this is the remaining 5. So we'll jump into the 6th one, transaction locks. And then, as I always do, I'm just not going to run the DMV. I'm going to show you a troubleshooting scenario with the DMV. And the idea is, you know what the DMV is, what it does, and how you can use it in production. That should be your learning. That should be your takeaway from the content today. Tran locks DMV. Okay, so sysdm tran locks. This is a DMV that will give you information about all the locks, transactional locks that you have in SQL Server at any given point in time. So if you simply run, let's close the Object Explorer. If you simply run a select star from, let's do this. Oops, what am I doing? Okay, select star from sys.dm underscore tran locks. Let's do this. And if you run this, it's going to give you a list of all the locks that are being held. This is a fresh assigned SQL Server instance right now. Nothing is running, no workloads running. So you would not really see any locks being taken as such. These are all locks that you see right now are system produced locks. So nothing at all right now. What I also mentioned in the first webinar, part 1 of this webinar is a DMV, most of the times, 99.99% times, a DMV like this is not really useful. We are always using DMVs, we're joining one DMV with the other, the result of that with the third one. There are a bunch of DMVs that we join, and then we do a lot of mathematics and aggregations on top of that to make the output a lot more meaningful. Many of these DMVs will give you a whole lot of overwhelming attributes and data metrics like you see, and not everything is going to be very important to you. So you got to really pick and choose, you got to filter, you really need to cut down on the noise so that you only get meaningful output. This applies to everything that we do today and what we did last week also, and for all the DMVs. Okay, so let's get started with tran locks. I'm going to close this and show you a typical scenario. Let's get into that. So let's first open all the scripts, and here you go. Now, if you look at the first user here, this is user number 64. Note down the session ID. which is 64, we are going to run a transaction. This is an explicit transaction. We will update human resources department, and we are going to place an exclusive lock on department ID 1. That's one of the rows. This is an update statement, which means this is going to be an in-flight transaction. No commit, no rollback. Let's go and execute this. The moment we execute this, one row is affected. And note that the transaction is still running. It's not committed. It's neither committed nor rollback, which means the exclusive lock that we have taken is still there. Now, if we run another user, which is user 76, if you look on the status bar, that is session ID 76, we want to fetch the data from human resources department. You know that this is going to be blocked, right? This user is going to be waiting. This is a very, very straightforward, simple blocking scenario where this user 76 wants read access to the data and wants a shared lock, but the other user 64 is holding an exclusive lock. S lock, shared lock, and X lock, exclusive lock, they are incompatible. So user has to wait. Which user? 76. Now, this is happening in OLTP environment every now and then, right? I mean, as we speak, all those thousands and thousands of deployments that are running SQL Server admin transactional queries, they're always being blocked. They're waiting for locks to be acquired, locks to be released. That's a very typical phenomenon in OLTP environment. Now we want to troubleshoot. Let's say this user is waiting for a long time. The lock is not being acquired. Then you put up your troubleshooting hat, and here we see the blocking details. And to iterate again, my core DMV here is sysdmtran locks. That is going to give me the wealth of information. But as I said earlier, look at what we are doing. This DMV alone is not useful. We are using waiting tasks. We are using SQL text. We are using exec requests. We are using exec SQL text to get the text of the query, and we are using dim exec requests. So many DMVs. Friends, it's not important that you have to use all these DMVs that I've used in the query here. It really depends what you're trying to extract and what information is meaningful to you. Now, if I go and execute this, this gives me everything that I need to know, which is, okay, 76 is being blocked. As you can see, that is 76. This is my waiter batch. This gives me the SQL query that is waiting, how long it is waiting for. I get that information. Then as I scroll right, I get more information about, okay, blocker ID, which is 64. This is the session ID that is blocking. And we have the transaction, the SQL query here, which for the blocker batch as well. And all of this. You can even take this one step forward and extract execution plan and whatnot, but not required really, because you just want to really know about the locking and blocking scenarios. All right, so hope this DMV is useful, very useful in a real world production environment. Quickly run it, get all the locking and blocking information that's going on right now. This is a real-time DMV. So if I run it, it gives me that. The moment blocking information is gone, let's say, I mean, the block is released, which means I've removed exclusive lock. This query will go through. You get the data out now. Of course, this is real time. So now if you run it, you're just not going to get anything, right? You will get empty result set. Okay. All right, friends. Hope this was useful. Hope you've enjoyed this first one. Questions, please use the Q&A panel. So while I have a sip of water and I open up the next one, you can always use the Q&A panel to ask questions. Okay, transaction logs. Next, let's get into two DMVs related to indexes. One is index usage stats, and the next one is going to be index physical stats. First, let's do index usage stats. If you want to watch the remainder part of the webinar and all the remaining demos, you can subscribe to the webinar on SQLmaestros.com and get lifetime access to the recorded webinar. All you have to do is just go to SQLmaestros.com, click on the recorded webinar section and get access to all the webinar recordings. There are many of them. Some of these webinars are free and some of them are very nominally priced. So the ones that you're interested in, you can subscribe to them and get lifetime access. Now, because there are so many webinars, subscribing to each webinar might be a bit cumbersome. So we have another option, which is SQL Maestro's membership. So the first link on SQL Maestro says join. If you click on that, it will bring you to SQL Maestro's membership. Things are very simple. There are two membership levels. The first level is free, where you get access to all the free webinars and all our tutorials and demos, more than 200, 300 demos and tutorials. All you have to do is just become a free member. You're paying nothing and you get access to all of them. So you don't have to go and subscribe to each webinar individually. Just become a free member and then explore the free video lobby. So if you go to the video lobby here, there is something called as free content where you get access to all of that. But then all of us are interested in advanced content, isn't it? And that is where premium membership comes into play. So the webinars that are paid, and there are many advanced tutorials and demos. If you want access to all of them, you can become a premium member and pay a nominal price, which is annual membership. Once you do that, you can explore the premium video lobby. If you go to the premium video lobby from here, or just go to the video lobby and click on premium content, you can see all the paid webinars and all the advanced tutorials and demos and get access to all of them with your annual membership. Anyway, choice is yours. There's a lot of content on SQLmaestros.com, and you can also explore the YouTube membership level as well. So you have free content on YouTube channel, and you can also join and become a member of SQL Maestros on YouTube, where you can pay a monthly fee, get access to all the paid webinars and advanced content. So in summary, you can go to SQLmaestros.com and become a member, or you can become a member on YouTube also. Becoming a member on SQLmaestros.com turns out to be a little cost effective with the annual membership in comparison to YouTube monthly membership. But anyway, choice is yours, whichever platform you wish to use. Happy SQL.